Hello and welcome to another episode in our series on how to convert your car from gas to electric. Now typically when people contact us to do a conversion for them, there's two main questions. How much and how long? Well, we've talked about how much in previous videos, and today we're going to talk about how long. And the how long is, how long does it take to do a conversion? So, well, there isn't an easy answer to that, and there isn't one answer to that. It varies based on the vehicle, the accessories, and just a lot of different idiosyncrasies. And so, can't really answer that question, but let's talk about what does affect some of that and what you can expect in a general sense. So first off, we've got a little chart here. It's got the task, the percentage of time, and then some notes involved in that task. Now, the first task, design time and engineering. Now, you'll see 40% of the total time for doing conversion, design time and engineering. Now, you can tell real quick when you look at a conversion if that's true or not. Those who spend less time, it shows. So, if you want a conversion that is reliable, safe, consistent, and simple to operate, then better do your homework. And so that's the notes and comments about that is do your homework. Spend a lot of time researching, your vehicle, the components. The objective here is to have that big picture understanding. Once you have that big picture understanding, then you'll be able to engineer a safe, simple, and reliable conversion. But if you don't have that understanding, it's somewhat of a crapshoot. Second thing on our task list is sourcing and ordering parts. Again, you're going to need to do a little bit of homework there. And, the internet can be tricky. There's places out there that still have an internet presence, but may or may not be in business. And there are those that will take your money and never send you anything. So again, you need to do your homework. That's roughly going to be 10% of your time doing that homework, figuring out the best sources, the best prices for the components that you've decided to use. Next, removing the internal combustion components. Now, if you got a Volkswagen Bug, you know, a classic Beetle, that's pretty easy. It all comes out with basically 4 bolts and, you know, disconnect the throttle and fuel lines. I mean, bang, exhaust and everything all comes out together. So that's pretty quick. On other vehicles, you're going to have charcoal canisters hidden up under fender wells and all sorts of other stuff that you do want to remove. Don't leave any of that stuff that you're not going to be using, because it's just weight, and weight costs you money, weight costs you range. So that again will vary based on the vehicle, but usually, you know, around 10% of your time of the big picture. Next, you're going to need to fabricate some of the components. Now, if you're doing a classic Beetle, again, they're an exception because you can buy an adapter coupler off the shelf. They don't require any additional motor mounts or anything, and it's pretty much plug and play. But most vehicles are going to require some kind of motor mounting setup that you're probably going to have to fabricate. Your battery containment, you're going to need to fabricate something so that those batteries stay where they belong. And then, you know, possibly the adapter and coupler. You know, there are some that others have already made, you know, an adapter coupler for your vehicle, and you can order it off the shelf. That's the easy way to go. Or you can have one made custom, or you can make one yourself if you're so talented. So that's about 15%. Next, we'll be installing all the components. And again, based on the vehicle that you have, if you've got a car with power steering, power brakes, air conditioning, and a lot of bells and whistles, there's going to be more to install. If you've got multiple battery pack locations, that takes a considerable amount of time. Each additional battery pack location takes another, you know, battery box to be constructed and installed, and it's extra time for the wiring and everything else. So if you have them in one spot, believe me, it's a big time saver. And of course, that's going to vary based on the vehicle. And then once all the components are installed, you're going to wire them and test everything. And I always advise that you do things very systematically. So, you know, like we showed in a previous video, we installed and wired the power brake system, the vacuum pump. And, you know, make sure that works. Don't do it all and then find out that something didn't work and you buried that and so forth. Do it systematically and in a logical order. And again, that can be as simple or as complex as you like. There are some of these, you know, IT guys that, you know, do some fancy stuff where they can turn on their car with their cell phone and everything. I'm not one of those guys, but you can make it as simple or as complex as you like. Of course, the more complex, the longer it's going to take. And then here's one that, if you do the math, that's 100%, but we have a 7th line right there. That's one that can end up being a pretty large percentage of the total time from start to finish. And it is the least, or let's put it this way, it's the most complicated to figure, because you can't. You never know how long it's going to take to get the parts in. But let me give you some examples based on a current project. Well, as you're probably aware, we are using a 1964 Mercedes 230 SL is part of this video series. And we ordered the motor and controllers for this on March 20th. Today's date again is April 5th. Now, the normal shipping time from that location is 2 days. Now, I realize they don't ship it the day you order it. Just giving you this for reference. This isn't time in transit. This is the fact that we ordered this back then. We still don't have it. Ordered the battery, which I misspelled. Got in a hurry here. Ordered the battery cells, 322. Again, it's 2 days, normal time. When they didn't get here in 6 days, and they didn't send me the tracking number like they said they would, I contacted the company, and sure enough, they shipped when they said they would. And they got me the tracking number, and I tracked it through the freight company. And again, I spent a total time of about 30 minutes on hold, all to find out that they lost the batteries. This is 2 pallets weighing in at 700 pounds, and over $10,000 worth the batteries, and they lost them somewhere between Pomona and Hayward. So contact the vendor again and say, hey, you need to talk to your shipper. They lost your order and I still don't have my batteries. So they filed a claim with the shipper and sent me out another batch, which was supposed to be here today, but the last time I checked the tracking, now it'll be here tomorrow. So I hope. The adapter coupler, ordered on the 23rd. Still have not received it. I inquired about the status yesterday, or the day before, anyway, recently, no word. So, how long does it take? Your guess is as good as mine. I just hope that you're a patient person and that you realize that, you can do certain aspects while you're waiting. But it gets to a point where we can't go too far without the adapter coupler. That has to go in first. Then there'll be a battery box on top of that. And because this is going to be very tight in this project, everything is going to be a tight fit because it's a very small car. We really, you can mock things up and everything. We typically don't waste the time doing that. We do the measurements, figure it out using a CAD design program. And so we have a close idea where everything's going to go, but we don't actually physically mount everything until we can do it in that sequential order to make sure that everything fits the way that we want it to. And a lot of times you'll make little changes as you go to get a better setup. So anyway, the big picture is that this is a sequential operation to a pretty good degree. And so if you're waiting on an item, hopefully it's an item that you don't have to put in until the end. Like potentially a lot of them would be the charger. It's an item that typically is installed towards the end. So anyway, I know that probably didn't answer the question, but we addressed the question. I thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again next Wednesday.